women do want to get approached at the gym. They're looking for someone who's also like-minded, who is also into working out. Flirting is a dance.
Sure.
Right? Flirting is a dance.
How do you choose the right partner?
First,
Pete O'Neill is the intentional dating coach.
Helping successful men and women find meaningful relationships without sacrificing their goals.
In this episode, he shares how to build romantic connections, overcome rejection fears,
Master communication.
And date intentionally.
I first had the problem in my dating life, my social skills, my communication. I went and got coaching, I went and got mentors, I went and did the seminars, I read the books, and I put it in my system. I find that like the places during the day is the best place to find your wife. When dating, being unpredictable is like an attractive thing, but in a relationship, being predictable is the number one thing that you want in your partner. So, like I see a lot of women sometimes will go lesbian. They go on a date with a guy, they like him, he's charming, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, I don't want to get married, and then just bounce. And then if you don't have God in your relationship, you're just gonna do crazy shit because there is no right or wrong.
What's your go-to piece of advice for a man that goes on the first dinner date?
When you're going into a date, I mean, the first thing you want to do is you want to...
All right, Peter, welcome to the show, my man.
It's great to be here.
How are you, bro?
I'm doing amazing.
It's the first time we met in person, and we've been talking for like 1 year probably, no?
Yeah, something like that.
And we add each other on Instagram. I see your content, I like it. But I want to know more about you. You're a dating coach, yeah?
Dating and relationship coach.
Dating and relationship
Yep.
coach. That's what you do full time? Mm-hmm. Nice. When did you start and how did you start and why did you start it?
Yeah. I started 2018. This is when I kind of started like my journey. 2017, I would say. But first, you know, whenever you start something, you don't do it full time, right? You like first want to figure out how to do it full time, right? So I first had the problem with like in my dating life, my social skills, my communication, and I fixed that problem. And because I fixed it, because I went and got coaching, I went and got mentors, I went and did the seminars, I read the books, I got into community where it was all about like how to improve in your dating life, right? And I learned from all the best guys. And I took all their systems and I put it in my system.
What's the best book that you read?
So one of the first books that I read that showed me like kind of like a community was The Game, right? I think like everybody kind of knows that The Game by Neil Strauss.
Yeah.
Right?
I started reading that, but I mean, like a friend, because I wanted to start doing what you were doing, to be honest, like it was like a few years ago, like 4 years ago. And then I was like, fuck, like so many people come to me and asking for advice. I may just start putting a blueprint and teach. So I'll tell you a little story.
Yeah, sure.
I used to work in the restaurant business. And then I was serving this table. And there were Japanese ladies in this table. And then they say, oh my gosh, you're so polite. You're so good in communicating, all this. They were flirting. I'm like, oh, whatever, lady. Thank you so much. It's like, you know what? Like, we wish more Japanese men are like you. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, well, you know, in Japan at the moment, the fertility level is going down. I say, what's going on? Yeah, so you know what's going on, Marcus? I have no fucking idea what we're talking about. And she's like, yeah, so actually at the moment, for us women, it's so difficult to find a man because men, they work, go back home, and they play video games.
Yes.
And he's like,
yes.
I may start teaching people how to flirt in Japan. I seriously thought about it.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious.
So and then a friend of mine was like, hey bro, that's actually a good idea. You should read this book. It's called The Game to kind of have a better idea. I started reading it, but I wasn't super aligned with his style of flirting. I think it was a little bit too goofy, to be honest. But yeah. So sorry, that was my two cents.
No worries. When you say goofy though, there is some things that like you take like everything, like in Jiu Jitsu, for example. I've been in Jiu Jitsu since 2010. I'm a black belt. It took me 10 years to get a black belt. So I've been in the game for 14 years in Jiu Jitsu, right? And the same way that I approach my dating life is the same way that I approach my Jiu Jitsu. Every person that you go and you learn from Jiu Jitsu, they're going to have fucking amazing technique, like certain things that's what they're known for, right? You're talking about Mike, one of my friends. Man, that guy has a sick guillotine, right? He's got a guillotine is where he's like choking you from your neck, right? You take that from him, right? And you take from other people.
The crucifix from Barry Yoshida.
He took that from Barry Yoshida, and that's his now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like continue to do that, right? So you take the best from each person.
I see what
you don't take everything.
Gotcha.
If you do that, then it's like what?
So what is that you took from Neil?
Yeah, I mean, not necessarily like because they're like, oh, like you got to nag girls and type of thing like that. The nagging thing is kind of weird. It's a bit strange.
What do you mean by nagging?
The nagging is like, oh, you have to like, you know, like that was like the word that they would use to like try to like the pickup community kind of has this thing where it's like you have to kind of like lower their self-esteem type of thing, right?
Lower her self-esteem?
Lower self-esteem by saying something that's like you're teasing her and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But the way I take it is I'm not like lowering her self-esteem. My whole point is to show my personality and be able to create that like spark, like that romantic spark by really like, you know, we all have like when we see a beautiful girl, we always have like we're thinking we're feeling something. But a lot of guys, what I've noticed is we don't want to say what we're feeling, right? Because we're like, oh, if we say something, she's gonna get mad or something like that. You know, we're playing to like not not lose. You know, when we're playing not to lose, we're like, you know, a turtle that the turtle shell's not coming out. You know, like the head's not coming out of the turtle shell, right? So it can't really show our best personality. So my whole thing was there is ways that you can actually like show your best personality immediately, right? And those are the things that I kind of took a little bit, right? And I've also like went into like Toastmasters. That like Toastmasters changed my life for
What's
like
Toastmaster?
A place where you work on your public speaking.
Oh, wow.
Right? And like that right there, I took that and I used it into like with women. I took it into my dating life. I took it with groups of people. I took it just like how I'm doing right now, and it changed my life because I was like extroverted and stuff like that. I could talk to people, but you know, when you talk to a woman, it'd be like a little bit more challenging. Like, oh shit, you know, you know what I mean? So, and also public speaking to in front of like 30 people and stuff like that. You're like, oh. So my whole thing was I tried to get as uncomfortable as possible so that I can get as comfortable as possible.
I love it.
The more you seek the uncomfortable, the more comfortable you will become, right?
I love it.
And I did that with everything, right? With my jiu-jitsu competitions, with women, with public speaking, and I took all the stuff, right? And like some things from books. That was just one tiny book that just showed me that there was like a community that was for that, right? But I'm not like, that's not like a fucking my Bible or something like that.
Sure.
You know what I mean? So I just continued to improve, and that in itself manifested into me like going into any situation. I walk into the room and I see a girl that I like, and like I'm gonna just like be able to like be charismatic, be charming, you know, have good communication, be confident, have that social confidence, and jiu-jitsu to back it up. Like, you know, if I'm gonna go and talk to her, like I'm not afraid if a guy's gonna come in and be like, hey, like, because that's another thought. Like if you're gonna go and talk to a girl, oh, what if she has a boyfriend, right? If she has a boyfriend, that's great, good for her, right? But if she doesn't have a boyfriend, that's a big thing. A lot of guys are like, oh, I don't want to disturb her. I don't want to disturb her.
You know, the only place that I do not feel comfortable in approaching women, it's the gym.
Oh,
because at the gym, I feel like I am disrespecting her by approaching.
Yeah. I hear you.
That's the only place.
I hear you on that.
But I had Frank. He's my personal trainer now. He went on the show, and he was not my personal trainer at the time. He just talked about nutrition and fitness, all this thing. But anyway, he also said that I was like, bro, you know what? Me personally, I would feel uncomfortable to approach a woman at the gym. He's like, but think about it, bro. Like, that's what they do all day long. They do competition. They take care of their fitness, their life. They take care of their body. They don't necessarily go out.
Yeah.
So it's like, that's the only place for them to actually find one another type of thing.
Yeah.
And that opened my mind. I was like, oh shit, I never thought that way.
Yeah.
But still, I would never approach a woman at the gym. Just, I don't feel respecting her at that time. You see what I mean?
I totally hear you.
That's the only...
Well,
what's your 2 cents on that? Talk to me.
I want to have my counter, right?
Let's go, baby.
So, I mean, fun little story is the way that I met my wife was
at the gym.
At the gym. I met her at the gym. This was November 2017, LA Fitness. So I'm a 24-hour member, and like you know, if you're a 24-hour member, you can go to all the different gyms, right? There's like 7-8 gyms in San Diego, right? So when I would learn about just like being able to like just have the confidence and like understanding of like when I go see a girl and like I'm gonna go and talk to her and like whatever happens, I don't care. There's no expectation. That's the biggest thing is like no expectation is when you can be your best self. Because if it goes well, cool. If it doesn't go well, I'm still living. I'm having a great life. I'm still improving my skill sets. I'm still gonna go and like approach. I'm still gonna continue. I don't care that girl's opinion of what she thinks about me doesn't matter because my vision is bigger than what her 2 cents are.
So do you teach people how to date for marriage or just how to date for fun? Well, like, let's just say, I come to you and it's like, hey, bro, I don't like to date for marriage. I like to date for fun.
Yeah.
Would you still take me as a client?
In the beginning, I took every client because I just wanted to make money and help people. But now now that I'm like married, I have a girl, I have a baby girl, 8 months, bro.
Oh, let's go. What's her name?
Her name is Augusta.
Augusta.
Yeah, we call her Augie.
Augie.
And man, she's love of my life. And
let's go.
You know, I don't want to be doing that. You know, I think I like matured enough to where like I'm only helping guys to want to attract their wife, their dream girl, right? But in order to do that, you still got to know how to attract women. Right? You still got to do that.
Yeah.
You still got to go in, like in real life, on dating apps, social circle, community, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You still got to do that. Right? So some guys come to me and they're like, I want to get better at being able to like get dates and find the right person in real life. Some guys are like, I want to just do it online. Right? So I have systems in like everywhere to help them attract the right person. And this year I started taking on clients that are women. So,
oh wow!
Yeah, so now I coach women too, because women is a little bit different. It's a little different, but we can get into that later. But I want to go into the quick story on my like how I approach my wife. You know,
yeah,
I met her at the gym,
please,
because I want you to be inspired, and for the people that are listening, like women do want to get approached at the gym, right?
Oh wow, okay,
like they do. Like just like your guy saying, what was his name?
Frank.
They're at the gym. They're at the gym every day. They're looking for someone who's also like-minded, who is also into working out. I mean, something that is at least the same thing, right? Those girls usually, those girls, like, they're not just like going out to clubs all the time, right? It's different than if you just go to clubs and bars every weekend, right? I used to do that too, right? But usually sometimes girls that go to the gym, they just go to the gym, work out, do their studies, or go and like, work and stuff like that. And that's it. You know what I mean? And then they do other things too. But I find that like the places during the day is the best place to find your wife over like clubs and like night game, anything like that. Right. That's my honest opinion.
Yeah.
Right. Because if you go to the club and you got the VIP service, VIP table, hey, what's up, girls? Right. Those girls, that's what they're living for, man. I used to date these girls, and if I didn't go out with them, they would be with another guy with like, who has the VIP bottles and stuff like that. If I didn't want to go out because I'm tired, I'm training super hard every day, and I just want to rest on a weekend, they would be like, no, come out. I'll come out. And then the next weekend I don't want to go. They're going to go with their friends that are single, that are giving that single energy, that are drinking, making bad decisions, et cetera, et cetera. And it's like having gray hairs thinking about it, right? So it's like, I'm not going to change your lifestyle. That's who she is. That's fine, right? That's totally fine. But for me, like, I want a girl that's like a good girl. You know what I mean? Like, I have goals that that I want to achieve, and I want to have a girl that is going to support me. I support her, type of thing. So I was at the gym. I was training at E12 Jiu Jitsu. You should definitely come, man. You're going to come. I'm going to get you to come. I'm going to get you a free trial.
Let's go.
And there was this one guy who came in, and he was like, hey, guys, I work at LA Fitness. I'm going to give everybody here 2-week passes to LA Fitness, right? I was a 24-hour member. So I was like, cool, I'll take a LA Fitness, 2-week membership or trial. I go, and like 2 weeks passed. I went like once, but then it was my last day for my membership, right? Like my trial to expire. So I'm there, it's like late in the evening, and I'm working out bench. And like, as I'm working out bench, I see this like beautiful girl, like in the Stairmaster. She's like, I just turn over and she's like beautiful, like just walking on the Stairmaster, right? And I'm like, man, she's super hot. Like I got to go and talk to her. As soon as I thought that, boom, 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 my heart is beating all the time. That it should be, because that shows that you're alive, right? That's my mind saying you have to do it or else you're going to puss out. Right?
Yeah.
Every time, everywhere I was at, there's always boom, 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 boom. Why? Because no one's going to be there for you at the end of the day, right? You have to be like your own, like, you have to be like very self-critical about yourself, right? So for me, I always thought like true victory is victory over oneself, right? Like if I don't do it, I'm rejecting myself. It's not even about the girl. It's about me. I have to do it. It's a challenge. So I was like, okay, I got to do it. I go to the restroom. I kind of like look at myself in the mirror a little bit, right? Slap myself a little bit. All right. And I'm just going to be like, I'm going to do it, right? And then as I'm going to go, my heart is beating. I'm like, all right, I'm like going in. And as I turned to see where she was at in the Stairmaster, she's fucking gone. And all of a sudden, my heart is like, it just dropped. The adrenaline stopped. And I was like, damn, there's no challenge. There's nothing, And then I'm like, man, she left. And then I turned to my left. And then from the restroom, and she's in the leg press machine, right? So as soon as I see her in the leg press machine, I'm like, all right, boom, 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 it's going again, right? It's going, because it's like, okay, you can't leave without doing it, right? At least you got to go and say hello. Whatever happens, doesn't matter. Like I said, there's no expectation. That's the best way to do it. If it goes well, cool. If it doesn't go well, cool. I wasn't thinking about it like, okay, like we're gonna date, and we're gonna be dating for a couple years, and we're gonna get married, and we're gonna have a kid. I wasn't thinking anything like that. I was just thinking, let me just do it. That's it. I went in there after she was like in the middle of the set, and I got right next to her, and I was like, hey, and she was wearing these big pink headphones, right? Like Dr. Dre headphones.
So she was doing the set.
No, she stopped.
She stopped.
Okay,
she stopped.
Got
so
it. She was like chilling, right? She
okay,
was chilling.
Okay.
And like I get there, right? Like I time it, and then I'm like, hey, and she's just like pretend like you're like doing that to me. Like she's just like that. I'm like, she's not looking at me.
Wow.
I'm like, what the fuck?
Did she saw you though?
I think she saw. I mean, I'm like, yeah. Like I'm right next to her.
Did she confess that she saw you?
I mean, we talked a little bit about what happened, right? So she didn't do anything. She didn't like look at me or anything. So I was like, so what I did was I tapped her on the fucking shoulder, man.
Yeah.
Tapped her on the shoulder, and then she's like, dropped her headphones, and then that's where like I talked to her.
What did you say?
Man, I said something like, I basically was like, hey, like I feel like I know you. Is your name Sarah? Because she looked like a girl that I knew.
Yeah.
Right. And she's like, no, my name is not Sarah. And I was like, oh man, well, anyways, what's your name? There's a girl that I know that looks exactly like you.
Okay.
Well, what's your name, right? And then she's like, oh, my name is Delar. I was like, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Pete. Like, what do you like? How's your day going? And then from there, we started talking a little bit back and forth, and then we just communicated just kind of like what we're doing right now,
Yeah.
right? And then from there, I just told her like, hey, we got into like kind of topics to where like, what do you like to do for fun? What do you do here, et cetera, et cetera. And then I told her that I was going to go to Mexico to visit my family for 2 weeks, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, hey, because eventually we traded Instagrams,
Mm-hmm.
right? Eventually I got her Instagram, and then I was like, hey, I'm going to get back in 2 weeks. Like, we should definitely go to the beach sometime. And then you know what she said? She was like, or let's not. Or let's not, right? And like, to me, like, she's like wanting something for me to be like defeated. But for me, like I said, no expectations, man. Like,
What did you say to her?
I just said, okay, I'll see you when I get back, right? I just brushed it off, right? That's what
I would have said to her, why? What's wrong with the beach? You don't like the beach?
I was already leaving. I'm not gonna stay there long. I'm just gone, right? And then from there, I mean, it doesn't matter.
But she was too serious? Like she was serious?
She was serious. There's certain things that I said extra, you know what I mean? But the biggest thing, like I said, is I see a girl that I like, I'm gonna go and talk to her. If she doesn't like me, that's fine. Mm-hmm. But I also met a lot of women at the gym too.
Really?
She wasn't the only one. I was actually like, I was going to different gyms and just striking up conversations, man, breaking the ice. While other guys are fucking huge, fucking meatheads, taking the creatine, taking the steroids, but they don't want to go and talk to a girl, because it's about the right way. It's not about doing it weird. I have this thing where like if you're direct to a girl, like, hey, at the gym, hey, I saw you and I thought you were super sexy or super cute or whatever. It's too direct at the gym, right? There's a time and place to be like direct and like do that, but it's better to like, it's not about being direct. It's about how to keep the conversation going and where it's good vibes and then having a call to action, right? So I just did that. And then next thing you know, man, we ended up going on another date, and then we connected, and dude, we've been together since November 2017, man.
Let's go. So was in your mind to just like fuck around, or was like, oh shit, like, I'm looking to have a long-term relationship? Yeah,
for me, I mean, it was more like probably not exactly getting married right away or like getting long-term. It was
kind
just
of
like,
getting some
kind of like,
girls.
hey, let's see. I think you're hot. Let's see what what like if we connect and et cetera, et cetera. But it was more just like, let's see. No expectation again, right?
Yeah.
I like what Buddha says. He says the root of all suffering is attachment. And like I was not attached to any outcome. Right? A lot of people are so outcome dependent. Oh man, if I'm gonna go talk to her, I'm expecting this, and if this doesn't happen, I'm gonna get crushed. It's like, why, dude? Why? There's billions of people in this world. Like, like it's like if you're doing closing, right? If you're closing a deal, someone doesn't want to work with you, fine. Obviously you want to be as good as of a closer as possible, but if they don't want to do it, that's what I think when I work with my clients is like, if they don't want to work with me, keep your fucking problem. I want to help you. I know I can help you. I know I can change your life, but if you don't want to do it,
do you charge them monthly per achievement? How do you charge them?
Different programs. Like different programs depending on like a time length, and that's the way that like I work with them and stuff like that. Yeah.
Got it. Is there For how long does it take for a client of yours to actually achieve what they're looking to achieve?
Yeah. So really quick, I just want to get back into the gym. So I really do believe that every guy should approach at the gym, right? I just think that there's a bad stigma out there for like social media, and like there's like people that are like reading the comments or things like that where they don't want to do it because they don't want to be that guy. But I really do believe that when you're at a gym, you can go to different gyms. You can go and just strike up conversation, read the room, see if there's like, the girl is talking to you back and stuff like that. If she doesn't like, just leave her alone. Hey, you have a great day. Boom. Right? We've interviewed women where we asked them, hey, if the guy approaches you at the gym and like you reject him and you see him a couple days later or a week later, like, what do you think about that? How does it make you feel? And they're like, I don't care. As long as he's not like being weird about it, I'm not weird about it. But if he's giving these weird vibes like, oh, like I rejected you, and now like he's like working out and he's like looking, then it becomes kind of awkward, right? So girls don't give a shit, man. They get approached so many times. But like at the gym, there's nobody that does it. So if you do that, you have an unfair advantage of like having a woman that you are really attracted to and see if there's actually like a good connection, right? So I just want to say that was one of the best decisions of my life, is being able to attract her and just being able to get in a relationship, because she's the love of my life, man. She's the love of my life. She's my best friend. We have an amazing relationship. We have a beautiful kid, and now my whole thing is I want to keep having more kids. I want to keep having more, like 5 or 6, man.
5 or 6.
Yeah, man. Like we'll get to that. We'll get there, but like I never really had like a strong like big family like that I wanted in my life. Like I said, my dad, he left when I was a little kid, so I kind of felt like there was a certain part of me that like, and he cheated on my mom and stuff like that. So like that whole thing is like I don't want to be like my dad. Can I easily be like my dad, who is like a fucking, he's married now, but he's like still like being with a bunch of girls and stuff and doing that? Like I don't want to do that.
How old are you now?
I'm 33.
33.
I don't want to do that, man. I already did that. I was single for like 6-7 years by choice, and I never wanted to commit because I got cheated on a long time ago, like 2012 by this girl. And I was like, I had my mindset then was like, I'm going to be single forever. I'm going to be a bachelor, and I'm going to like, one day I'm going to get married just to say like, just to say it, right? I got married, right? But when I found her, she was different than all the other women. And I felt like the connection, the love, it's indescribable. And I do believe that like having abundance in your life, like at first for a man, he should aspire for that, like being able to meet women and see like, who he can connect with, right? Rather than just only attraction only, right? Because like some guys will just get married for a girl that there's like super hot, just like trophy wife, but like they don't look at the other sides of the coin of like what else does she has to offer, man. And that's why in my opinion, there's like a huge divorce rate. Guys get married off of scarcity and they choose the wrong partner, man. Rather than like,
how do you choose the right partner?
How do you choose
the right partner?
So
how do you know she's the one?
You have to depends on like what your values are in life, right? I think that's like a hard question to answer because everybody has different values. Some people want to be in like open relationships, right? Some people want that stuff. If you're the guy who wants to do a traditional like relationship where you're one-on-one with the woman, and like she she's the type of woman that like is going to support you, is also like very family oriented and things like that. First, you obviously have to be attracted to her, right? I know that a lot of guys, sometimes they get into relationships and they're not even attracted to their girl.
Really?
Yeah. And then that's why they're like, they're not faithful to the girl, right? Some guys can be with a hot girl, but they still do that, right? There's a lot of that, right? But for the guys, I feel like they don't choose a girl like that they really want to be with because they choose whoever comes in their life based off of scarcity. I really do believe that you choose a woman based off of abundance. Like someone that when you are talking to women, you're having a successful dating life, you get to choose who you actually connect with, who you actually like is your best friend, who you have deep, like dark, like moments together.
Hold on, wait. So you're saying that you can choose the person that you can have the connection with?
The connection is, besides the attraction, is the most important part.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is that I want to clarify what you're trying to say. Are you saying that you, as a man, as a couple, you like, let's just say that I'm looking for a girl, and I don't know if the connection, chemistry is gonna be there. Do you think I can choose to have a connection with her and to have a chemistry with her?
You should, man. You
really?
Should. Yeah.
I don't think so.
What do you mean?
I don't think that I have the power to, let's just say, I see a beautiful girl, right? And then she's beautiful, whatever, but I just don't have the chemistry with her. I don't have the connection. My connection with her is not there.
Then she's not the one.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I wanted to understand like what you were trying to say. If you were saying like, hey, you can have the connection with anybody that you're looking.
No,
Oh, okay,
I never said that.
Okay.
No, I just said that like when you're attracted to a girl, let's say that you're dating, right? And
Sure.
You're looking for a girl or whatever, or you're like happy where you're at. I do believe you should be happy where you're at first,
100%.
you know, before you even get like, oh, I need a girl, right?
Yeah.
Once you're happy and you're like having abundance, like you're just getting dates, meeting women, being able to like have success there. When the right woman comes and you're talking to, like, for example, my story was when I talked to her and I started dating her, I was also talking to like 3-4 other women that were just like just as like pretty as her.
Mm-hmm.
But when I would go out on dates with the other girls and I would go with them, I would be thinking about her. I'd be thinking about the connection that we had. I'd be thinking about that. And like some people don't get to choose, don't have that. And so the first girl that comes, whether they have a good connection or not, they're like, okay, she'll be the one. And I think that's a big mistake.
It is.
I think you want to see where like a deeper connection is, and like that's something that is hard to describe. It's like through your heart and like the values that she has too. What is the vision that you guys have for your life? You know, also what is her past? For me, I don't want a girl that's very like had so many relationships or dating and things like that. I was the second guy she's ever like was with. You know, she had one boyfriend, then it was me. So in high school, I met her when she was 20. I was 26.
Got it. So when you say that, like, you mean like the body count?
I think like yes and no. You know, I think like the body count is a lot of people like have this thing where it's like, oh, she has da. Yes and no, because it's hard now. Like if you are like maybe you're in your 30s and you're looking for someone and you find someone that's like 25 or 30, like for them to not have a fucking super like not even high, but like for them not to be with a couple guys, have a couple boyfriends, it's really hard nowadays, right? That's really, you know what I mean? So it's like for guys to be like that, that's where the approaching does come in, and like you meet the girl that's like maybe a little bit younger and things like that. But it was I was never thinking like because she was young, that's like what it was more just the connection, and she had other things too, you know. But yeah, she only had like one boyfriend, and like for me, like I said, the connection was the most important part, you know. And then the vision that we had together. We wanted to have a family, we wanted to have kids, we wanted to support each other, and like she was so nurturing, and like it was indescribable, man. So
when you give advice to your client and they say, hey, where should I have my first date? Where do you think a man and a woman should have their first date?
At a strip club. I'm just kidding. I mean, keep it. I know there's a lot of people there like, you got to have a fucking fancy dinner and do this and this and this, like, right? I mean, the first date should be no expectations. You should just see if you're like actually like she goes through like if you actually qualify. Like, does she make the qualification to actually if there's actually a connection, her values? Is there any red flags? Is there something that you noticed? Like, so the first thing is just like simple, man. It could be at the beach. It could be like a picnic at the beach. It could be like grabbing a coffee. It could be like just having like a Jamba Juice. It could be something very simple, man. Just something that you get to talk to her right away and see. It doesn't have to be, I used to have my first dates used to be at dinner dates, and that was like the worst thing. I used to always go to like all you can eat or like Italian food. I used to go to all these places, but to me, that wasn't very good.
Why?
I didn't like it. It's just like, to me, like you're sitting across from a girl super far. It's like 2-hour conversation. There's a bunch of people. I'd rather go to a place where like we're both like can like get to know each other and like make it more casual, kind of like this, right? Like it's just more relaxed. Right?
How long does it take, ideally, according to you, to go and bring her to a nice date?
2 or 3.
2 or 3.
If she's really good the first time, like go into another date. If not, go somewhere else that's like kind of fun again. And then if you see potential, that's where she earns it. You know what I mean?
Makes sense. Gotcha.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you think the man should keep the conversation like texting every single day, or do you think it's like?
No, definitely not. Like you're being super needy like that, right? Just bare minimum, a little bit, tiny bit, and then when you go on the date, that's where you guys get to know each other. And then after the date, bare minimum, a little bit, and then you set something else up. That's where you guys get to know each other. When it comes to dating, in my opinion, like you don't want to be so predictable, right? Predictability is something that's very like you know, in dating, it's very like needy. Like a guy that's like always texting a girl, oh, how's your day? Good morning, good night, da da da. It's like he's so needy, right? He has to come from a place of just like being like just relaxed, cool, calm, mysterious a little bit, right? Because let's say that you go on a date with a girl, it goes really well, right? There's two Marcos. One Marco goes on a date with the chick, and then like you can text her the next day, say, hey, you had a good time, whatever. But then you keep going, boom, 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 right? She's gonna be like, damn, I'm getting smothered by this guy, right? The other guy is, you guys have a great time. You might text her, you might not text her for a while. She's thinking about you, like she's thinking of you, because when you're not there, that's when she's actually like thinking like about you a little bit more, right? Like when like out of sight is when women are like feeling more about that person that made them feel some type of way, like that they connected with, they had that spark, right? But if you guys had that spark and you're overbearing, you're eager beaver, she's gonna be like, damn, like this fucking dude, you know, like what the fuck, you know, this guy's like super, you know, needy as hell.
What do you think is the most mistake the men do? And you are, you know, like in sales, there is usually an objection, right? And people master it, and then salespeople master, and then they are able to overcome it. What do you think is the type of objection that men get from women? And then you're able to help them overcome it.
Like, what is one of the biggest mistakes?
No. Objections. Like, so type of mistakes the men do, right? It's a recurrent, and you see these happening often. Mm-hmm. And then the second question is, what type of objection do men get from women usually, and you're able to help your client to overcome it?
I would say the biggest one is like, I mean, there's a lot, right? There's so much, right? But
of course,
let's just talk about one. One concept is like, guys go on dates, and they go on a date with a girl that they like. They think the date went really good. They're like, oh, they're so excited and stuff. And then that night of the date or the next day, the girl texts the guy and she's like, hey, John, you know, I had a really good time. You were nice, but I didn't feel a connection. I didn't feel. Feel is the word.
Feel,
right?
Yeah.
I didn't feel. What does that mean? What do you think that means?
I think that it can happen because, for instance, right? Yeah. Let's just say I'm dating a woman, and then this woman is way younger than me, or her experience are not as the type of experience I did, or whatever it is. It can happen that it may not be a connection, and I don't think necessarily it's something that she did bad, or necessarily that's something that I did bad. It's just some people just, you know, do not connect. I don't think it's necessarily his fault or her fault. That's what I think. Connection is something that I can grab and understand it, like in the first 5 minutes of having a conversation, really even less than that, by looking a woman in the eye, see where she's going, see, you know, if I'm touching her, to see how she responds. If I see that she's put their shoulder like this all the time, you know, does this all the time, and she doesn't feel comfortable, you know, in doing this, and then kind of stay here, like you see she's nervous, and maybe you're intimidating her, maybe you're putting her in a position that, I don't know, many things. I mean, like we can go here, stay here for 5 hours.
Yeah, but, I know.
You know,
like give me a seminar right now. Yeah, I hear you on that.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, that I like what you said. But I feel like the way you're saying it is like you're coming back from a place of like your point of view. So
yeah,
it's
my
like,
point, of course.
So like, let's say that like not that many guys are like Marco, right? Like, very charismatic, good communicators, confident, like well built, right?
Try to
everything, right? You have to inspire to have it all, right? Whatever you're lacking, you got to inspire. But what we like the way that you're sounding is you're sounding from a place of abundance. Yeah, so that means that you're like, I don't feel like I connect with her.
Yeah,
right. That's because you are going on a lot of dates, man. that's what it sounds like to me. That's what it sounds like to me. Not everybody gets that.
What's a lot of dates compared to what?
I mean, you know, so you're saying like, oh, I didn't connect with her. So you're like, oh, hold on a sec, it's me. But the thing is with guys that are just like trying to find the right girl, they tell me, I found her attractive. I found her, like, I did feel a connection, but she didn't feel a connection with me. So what I believe is when they say I don't feel a connection, it means that somewhere in the date, right? Because like they both come from a place of they're going to meet the girl basically is going to put on makeup. She's going to do her nails. She's going to do everything. She takes about 45 minutes to an hour to get ready, right? So she's investing her time to go to that date with that guy. So she's given him a chance.
Sure.
Right? She's in a place where she's looking to date, looking to find a partner. He might, if they're on a dating app, he's like a software engineer. He's got good financial resources. He's making 6 figures or more in his field. Doctor, lawyer, these type of guys who are high status professions, right? And they're doing well. Well, they're gonna go on the date and they're giving them a chance by paper.
By the status of the man.
Exactly.
Sure.
So now they're gonna go on a date, and then they go on a date, and somewhere in the conversation when she says I don't feel, she's basically saying somewhere in your behavior or in your communication you turned me off, and that turned me off, whether it was through the way your behavior, the way that you were subcommunicating, your nonverbal communication, or like the way that you said something, or the way I just didn't feel something about you, right? That like turned me off, whether it was what you said or, just the way that he behaves. He's behaving in a lower status behavior where he's a higher status in like his profession, right? So even though you're let's say that you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're an engineer, you have like a high status profession, you can still the way that you behave with women can be low status.
100%.
So that's what I'm saying is like they're doing those things that is displaying low status behavior where it turns women off, right?
I think the solution for that is for the man to become the best version of themselves and improving their value. Because think about it. Yes, you can, the person that went on a date with a woman and then she's like, hey, I feel over here, whatever, I don't feel a connection. Sure. The guy can learn the next time and become a fucking great persuader. He can be a great fucking Don John. But that's all skills. By literally after 2 dates, he's going to be the same fucking person because he did not elevate his status. He did not elevate his value. So I think that if some woman, for me, she feel like, hey, I didn't feel like having that's completely fine. Like I feel the same way. Or if I didn't do whatever, like I don't care. Like that's me. I'm not trying to put up a mask or things like that. Fuck it. You know what I mean? But I feel like for man, what their solution is supposed to be is, hey, number 1, become a better fucking reader. Number 2, become a better fucking person. Number 3, become a better man. Rise up any single little things that it's not going your way.
Sure.
Yeah, I'm completely okay for a woman to say like, I don't feel it.
They might think that you're the opposite of like you're displaying like short term, like you're
maybe
maybe not long term potential.
Sure.
So, oh shit, this dude is a fuckboy. Like the way he's displaying, I think he's gonna cheat on me. So therefore, like I don't right. But I hear what you're saying. That's true. Like that's one of the things that I do with my clients is like I help them like become like better storytellers. Like being able to like tell stories. There's so much power in that, right? Like I remember when I couldn't tell stories I would be with my friends, group of people, and we would have like a crazy like experience, and like I want to tell it to everyone, and I would have like a friend be like, "Hey, you tell the story.
Okay.
Hey, Gabe, you tell the whole story,"
Okay.
because I didn't want to tell it.
Okay.
And when I went to Toastmasters. And you work on your public speaking, you work on your storytelling, you work in your impromptu conversations. That changed my life because I was able to translate that into the real world. So my stuff is the same, like similar to what you're saying is like, if a guy's not good at telling stories, join Toastmasters. Join if a guy's not quick with it, join like an improv class, right? If you don't know how to tell stories, I'll show you how to construct stories. And like we have to talk about where are the stories or experiences from your life. We all have cool stuff to share, but a lot of people don't know how to tell stories. They don't know how to, because they've never learned. They never like taken action. Maybe they're not natural, and they never had like a framework, like a roadmap to this, right? So telling stories is not about being fake. It's just about showing your best self.
Sure.
Right? Selling yourself.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, if you don't sell yourself, someone else will.
Sure.
And you have to believe in yourself and sell yourself to its fullest potential.
100%.
That's one, right? And then the other side of like engineers, lawyers, doctors, they're very successful because of why? Because of logic, right? They use logic to succeed. But when it comes to dating is emotional. So are you using the same way that you're in your profession, in your field with women, you're having mundane conversations, platonic conversations that are leading to nowhere, that are basically like, if you're like in the hospital and you're dying, what is that thing that like when they put the thing on your chest, like,
Pacemate, like, I see what I mean.
It's like this, it's like dead, right? The conversation. So when there's no type of feeling, no type of flirting, no type of bantering, no type of just being playful with the stories, with like not coming from a fake place.
Sure.
This is not coming from a fake. This is about how can we, because dancing or flirting is a dance.
Sure.
Right? Flirting is a dance. And like, I didn't know how to do the dance back then, right? There is a ways like we can all learn to like flirt with women the right way, to have like more romantic vibes. Because guys are having emotional vibes sometimes, but the romantic vibes, you need to have the yin and yang to like have an actual successful date. So I showed them that of like, how can we create romantic vibes in the most authentic way possible?
What's your go-to piece of advice for a man that goes on the first dinner date?
Yeah.
What's like a type of go-to advice that you would give to one of your clients that goes on the first dinner date with a woman?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Like just like a
for
general
instance,
advice?
right? Let's say if I would give a piece of advice to a man that goes to a woman with a woman the first time in a date, in a dinner date, I would say learn how to fork the pasta and feed her. Or if it's not the pasta, whatever it is, it's like the piece of meat. You know, if the plate's over here, making sure that you're the one pouring the water to her, making sure that you're like the one cutting the meat or something like that, like distributing the
be a gentleman.
The thing, give it to her. And sometimes if you feel like the connection is there, or you want to test the water, feed her in her mouth. You see what I mean? And see how hot it can get, you see how spicy it can get, see how she's also like touch her. I would suggest to touch her right here, because like you can't understand if she's feeling the vibe or she's gonna be like putting her body language in a way like, okay, I don't feel comfortable. In that case, you pivot. You'll be okay, cool. Let me make her more comfortable.
Yeah.
What would be your piece of advice?
Yeah. I like that. Like be like a real gentleman. Like a lot. I feel like masculinity has started to decline here, man. You know what I mean? Like it's that's the truth, man. And I think part of that is because of the fathers, remote fathers. I know plenty of guys that like for me, my father was not in my life, right? I had my stepdad was there, but you're not learning. Like, this is how to be a fucking man, son. You got to barbecue, son. Why do you have to barbecue? Because one day you're going to barbecue for your family.
Yeah.
Why is the big reason? Like, I remember my parents used to be like, you need to do that. And I'm like, why? And then my mom would be like, because I'm your mom. How am I ever going to know why? So the way that I teach is always like, this is the reason and this is why.
Okay.
Because if you do this, this is what's going to happen. If you don't do this, this is, so there's two outcomes.
Sure.
That's the best way to learn.
Yeah.
Right. That's like what I've learned from my like childhood that I take with my clients and like my jiu-jitsu and et cetera, my dating, everything. Right. But you know, one of the like, because like if you're like you have a son, you're going to teach him that, right? He's going to know exactly what to do.
100%.
Right? But how many guys have that?
Yeah.
Right. So this is more than just like, you know, that's like one of my goals is to help as many guys possible, because I never had that I wanted. I had to seek out the people that I wanted, that inspired, that I wanted to be like, you know, whether it was in sports, whether it was in like public speaking, whether it was in like dating, etc. And I took everything, like I said, I put everything, different boxes, and put them into my box, you know? So, I mean, when you go into a date, I mean, the first thing you want to do is you want to lead, right? You want to be the leader. You want to show her that you're the fucking man. Right, when you meet her, the first thing is like strong presence. Immediately, like a lot of times, like guys are like, they get weird with like contact and stuff, like side hug, grandma side hug, or you know that aunt that like has very greasy. You don't want to touch her face. You know, you're like, ah.
I'll kiss the shit out of her chicks. You know what I mean?
You know, so you know, the first thing is a strong presence, man. That's like the depth of like your presence she wants to feel as a man, right? Showing a little bit of dominance, right? So it's just like basic stuff. But like the basics is the fundamentals, right? Like sales.
Yeah.
You want to master the fundamentals, right?
Yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to understand is like, for example, like the people that are watching this, right?
Yeah.
And they want to learn a little bit about your program and a little bit about you, and eventually they see this and oh shit, let me take him as a mentor, right? What type of a how-to advice would you give them in the how can they be a better leader in the date? Let's just say, right?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, like you're leading them by like you telling them like as soon as you meet her, you want to give her a hug, you want to give her a big bear hug, show her your presence. You want to be the one that's leading. Like if you guys are meeting out at an Italian restaurant, you're the one that's talking to the person that's reserving. Hey, we're a table for two. I confirmed this. Let's go. You grab her hand. You grab. You know, you're taking her to the table. You like, you know, kind of like what you're saying. Be gentleman. Take the chair out. Boom. Put her in there. From there, the 3 T's. You know, you want to definitely. You definitely want to tell stories. You definitely want to tease, because teasing is flirting. You know, if in the dictionary, if you're looking at what flirting is, it is teasing with your words, right? That, like playfully, right? And you wanna like tease, tell stories, and break the touch barrier, right? There has to be a little bit of touch barrier to create that sexual tension, right? If there's no sexual tension, because guys are too afraid, they're not risking it, man. You know, you have to have a little bit, right? Obviously, read the fucking room. If you see that and the girl's freaking out, don't, you know what I mean? But like, if you're telling a joke, touch her on the shoulder, right? Maybe touch her on the leg if you guys are getting close, right? Those are important things, right? You have, and also another thing is be a good active listener.
Sure.
You know, get deeper there, right? So all those things combined together, plus other things that go way deeper that we would spend 5 hours here, right?
That's okay, we got time.
But yeah, I would say those things are important, you know, because at the end of the date, you want her to know who you are. You know, you want to share your experiences from your life, right? You want, once again, you're like kind of selling yourself in a way, but not in a way where it's unauthentic, but in a way where it's very authentic, genuine, and like she can see your vision. She can see who you are, why you do what you do, why you're passionate, and where you're going. So that way, like you're drawing a painting with your words. You're drawing like you're painting a canva with your words. So she's like, oh man, wow, this guy, he's showing me that he's ambitious. He's showing that he's a go-getter. He's showing that he's like fun. Like he's even showing like other things from his life that like stories are a very powerful way to, you can really know about someone rather than just like facts, just like statements, right? You know what I mean? Things like that, right? So these are important things that you got to do every time. And if you go for the first time and you go on a date and there's like after the date is done, you can go for the kiss. I know a lot of guys are always like, oh, like 2 seconds, the third. If it's there, man, go for it. And if she rejects you, that's fine. That's fine too. You know, that's totally fine. Just be unfazed. You know, a lot of times women will test guys to see where they're really at in their confidence. And guys will fucking fail all the time. This is called shit test. You know, women do this all because because you can act a certain way, like a facade, and pretend like you're confident. But women, you know, they really want to test the man really like deeper than just like the you know, the surface level stuff, right? So they're gonna test you deeper things, and if you're not willing to like, you know, like pass those, immediately turned off. This guy, he can't stand up to me. I'm thinking like if we were together, he's not gonna stand up to other people. That if we're together, he's not gonna protect me, you know. If I have a family, stuff like that, or like, you know, there's a guy that's rude to me, he's not going to be willing to stand up for me because he can't stand up to me. You know, he can't stand up to them because he can't stand up to me. You know, there's like so much deeper things like that because women have to invest time, you know, for them to have a kid, dude, 9 months, man, for me, for us to have a kid, 9 months, bro, 9 months for Augie, you know? So it's not just us where we're just like, whatever, man, we just plant the seed, done. You know what I mean? It's like, they got to know who they're going to choose, who is the best possible candidate for you know, long term. You know what I mean? So you got to display those things, and you got to continue working as a man, always, man, sharpening the skills, man. Like I said, it's so easy to implement. Work on your fucking physical body. Go to the gym, depending on what you are, right? If you're skinny, get strong, get jacked. I used to be very skinny. Okay, I was like super skinny, but what did I do? I went to the gym like 5-6 times a week. And I would work out every day. I would take the creatine. I would take the protein. I'd take the steroids. No, I'm just kidding. I would take whatever I could. I would eat more. I would eat 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches before I go to bed every night after dinner. So I can like that can bulk. You know, I needed that because like if you're weak and like you're like skinny, like you look like you're malnourished, and like you look like, you know, from the evolutionary side of things. You can't fucking go kill an elk if you had to, right? You're the guy that's picking blueberries. Nobody wants that. So it's so easy. Just do that. And if you're the opposite of being a fat guy.
What if a client of yours is picking blueberries for a living?
Then I tell him that. I don't know what to tell you there.
I got you.
You got me there. Yeah, you got me there. But yeah, it's easy.
What do you think is because I talk with so many guys and women, and I feel like one of the bigger issue is a commitment issue. The guy may be attracted to the woman, but the guy would like to have 5 more in the same fucking week. What would you say to this guy that has this commitment issue, or he's still there trying to figure it out, you know, if you want to spend time with her or if you want to spend time with her? You know, what would you say to this guy that is listening to this podcast?
I mean, it depends where he's at in his life, because I believe that we all men have like different stages of life.
Sure. Let's just build a scenario, right? Of this guy is like, you know, he's okay. He's pretty self-confident, whatever. But at the same time, he's like, hey, until I find the woman that I can feel the connection with, I'm going to keep doing my thing. What would your tip be? Because I feel like behind this methodology and behind this philosophy it can be maybe a commitment issue, deeper down.
Yeah.
Well, how
insecurity, kind of, sometimes it could be like insecurity. Sometimes it can be insecurity. Sometimes it could be like a childhood trauma. Sometimes it could be something that is passed from your parents that like you saw like your dad was cheating on your mom, and that's like that's all you know. So this is like way deeper than just like this. You have to know the person. Each person is unique that I work with. Everybody has strengths, weaknesses, different limiting beliefs, different childhood traumas, etc. So my whole thing is I got to figure out exactly what they need, like where they're at in their life, why they think like that. What's the reason, and then from there we come up with the game plan, right? But I would just say like if a guy, let's just make up a scenario, okay? Yeah. If a guy like
I like role playing.
Yeah, like role playing is good. Yeah, of course. We do a lot of role playing too in my coaching programs.
Oh wow,
we have to, man. Theory without role playing is kind of like it's hard. Kind of same thing as closing, right? But
so you guys practicing? How does that work?
Live role playing stories, telling stories. Hey, this is the story. This could have been way better like this if you had this. Okay, we construct the story. Okay, this is how you tell a story. Okay, give it to me in 4 or 5 minutes. I'm gonna critique you, right? And then I critique the person. Okay, this right here, this is where we can do way better here. This right here, I didn't really like. We could do like this. Okay, now let's live role play. And then we're live role playing, right? And that's like stories or like situationals of like being able to just like talk to strangers.
Yeah, I feel like the bigger thing that I think some men are missing is let's just say you are flirting with this woman, you meet her, whatever, and then you take the information, the contact or whatever, and then you follow up, and then she doesn't answer you. I think. Sometimes, right? I'm not saying all the time, but I think sometimes you have to be able to follow up to get what you want, number one. And number two, let's just say she's like, yeah, we can go and have a glass of wine as a friend. Take the fucking chance.
Yeah, 100%.
Because
you're confident enough that you know that like if she says that,
it's an objection.
That's a test.
That's an objection.
Yeah, that's a test. That she's testing you.
I come from a world of sales, and that's an objection.
Yeah.
That's let's be friends. Okay, cool. Objection.
Yeah.
I guarantee you, if you're doing a fucking good job, I mean, you can tell. If you're doing a good job, you know your shit, you know your skills. Yeah. She's not gonna be your fucking friend.
Yeah, exactly. You're confident enough that you know that you can turn the tables and you can get the close, right? I would have this thing where when a girl would say that she has a boyfriend, like back in the day when I was approaching all the time, I would be like, hey, and then she's like, oh, I have a boyfriend, right? And like everything's going well. Dude, you never know if they actually have a boyfriend or not, right? Like, you never really know. Yeah. So I would test it so fucking far to see, right? And what I would say is, I would say something like, whoa, like, I'm not trying to be a boyfriend. I just thought you were cool. We could just be friends. Why not? And then the girl would be like, yeah, I guess not. Yeah, let's connect. What's your number? Boom, right? And then we'll go on the date, and then kind of what you said, right? That's one. The other would be, well, I don't really know. Like, I am talking to this one guy, or I am dating this guy, and like I don't think he'd like that, right? And I would say this. This is what I would say. I would say, well, let me ask you like a real question, right? Let me ask you a deeper question. Like let's just imagine 10, 15 years from now, do you see that guy in your life? Do you see that guy in your life? And then she'd be like, no. I'm like, well, then why can't we be friends then? You know what I mean? And then if she's like, the other side would be like, yeah, I do see him. Wow, that's amazing. I wish you the best. You guys have a great one. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, there's good girls out there.
Sure.
Because there's a lot of girls out there who are like in relationships, and they're not really in relationships. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they're just dating. They're not in a relationship.
Sometimes I'd be like I'd be with a girl, and we'd be in my house, and then I close, and then she'd be like, oh yeah, I have a boyfriend in France. What? Like no, where did that come from? You never told me. You know what I mean? And like
you're like, I'm not jealous.
I'm like, what does that have to do? I was like, what does that have to do with me?
Yeah.
And then she got like mad and stuff. But like, it's like, you never know where girls are at. That's why like, you have to see, like, you have to know who they are, because if you don't know who they are, you're gonna get played, man. You know, and you're gonna get cheated on, or they have a lot of red flags, and just you're looking at the facade of just beauty. That's a weakness. For us guys, we're visual creatures, man. So we see a girl that we like and she's sexy. It doesn't mean that she's wife material. Doesn't mean that at all.
100%.
A lot of guys think that though.
Really?
So many guys.
Oh,
guys who are rich as fuck, who rich as fuck, millionaires, they'll go with a girl that's just like super hot, and they're like, that's it.
You know how many?
And then she's cheating on the guy who's teaching her fucking like Pilates and shit, or like other stuff. Like, it's like retarded.
You know how many hot girls I rejected because I didn't feel a connection. I didn't feel like they were like, at my level type of thing. Like, I remember this thing. So I divorced back in 2020.
Wow.
So I made this, I was at the mall. I was walking at the mall. I was going to Fashion Valley, and I was going to get a perfume, a fragrance. And I saw this beautiful girl, curly hair, Latina, outstanding, beautiful. I went there, approached her, asked her I say, hey, I think you're fantastic, super beautiful. Like, I would love to invite you for a glass of wine. Are you free tomorrow on Thursday? Option close. And then she's like, hey, how are you? Whatever. Like, she was kind of confused. Anyway, I brought her out for dinner, whatever. And I start getting to know her. And she, bro, I'm telling you, she had the same fucking story on my ex-wife.
Really?
And I was like, and for me, bro, I was like, oh, like, it was a red flag. Man. She tried to kiss me, and like, I was like, no. I'd rather not kissing you. I'd rather not, because I felt like so bad at the time. Not bad, but I didn't want to go through the same things all over and over.
That memory, that strong feeling that you associated with your wife, it came back present. Dude. And you're like,
whoa. Oh, no way. Bro. It was like, I'm not doing that again.
I'm sure you learned a lot though, right? Like, you learned, I'm sure, a lot from that woman.
100%. I'm so grateful for her. I will never be the person I am without her. I feel like I learned the hard way, but it wasn't necessary. I was super skinny at the time. I was like 150, 160 pound probably. And then I look at myself in the mirror like, I'm too fucking weak. I'm too fucking slim. Yeah. And then so many things. Because I feel like if you're not self-aware of your situation, if you're not self-aware of where you are at the moment, you're never going to improve your life, your future, and your legacy. Because it's not about you only. It's also about a legacy that you're able to live in this world, right? Yeah. So yes, I learned a lot from my ex-wife. I'm grateful for her. And also, I'm able to not doing the same mistake that I did back in the days. That you dance tango in two. We talked about the dance movement before. Yep. And you dance tango in two. As long as you're able to improve and become a better version, that's all that matters.
So I love that story because you're the one that wasn't a victim of your own fate.
Oh, 100%.
You were like, okay, like I learned what I need to do to improve. There's a lot of guys out there that happens to them. Like what happened to me. They fucking become victims, man. They blame women. That's why I don't like the whole red pill, black pill, all these victim ideologies, man, that are telling guys like, black pill is like, if you don't have these things, like you're doomed, right? Like that's it, it's done. And it's like, red pill is like, all women are like that. They're all going to cheat on you. They all do this. Don't ever do this, right? And it's like, just victims, man. Like, because we all have had bad experiences and some people just stay in that bad experience for the rest of their life. You didn't do that. You were like, fuck that. What do I got to do to improve?
Yeah.
I did the same thing. And like, for us guys, those are like the best things that can happen to us. We see it like the curse as like a blessing in disguise.
100%.
So, I mean, that's one thing for guys is like, if you have had like, got cheated on or like, maybe you dated a girl and she had a lot of flags or like just bad experiences.
Sure.
Like, don't give up, man. Continue going and continue working on your skills, continue improving on yourself. Jim Rohn was, one of my favorite quotes from him is like, he says, learn to work harder on yourself than you do at your job.
True.
Right. And like, I feel like a lot of guys don't do that anymore. They don't want to read anymore. They're like lazy about reading. They're lazy about working on themselves, working out. They're lazy about like their communication. Even if you're not a natural communicator, you can get good at being able to tell stories and public speaking and things like that, right? If you're, so we can all improve, man.
100%.
So tell me, where are you at now in your life? Like, as far as like, did that kind of change the way that for you, like,
I'm getting coached now, yeah? Let's go. I love it.
Yeah. So yeah, what happened to you? Like, what do you want in your life? Like, what did that teach you? Like, going into the next relationships, is that something like, did you have a hard time committing now? Is that something that you feel like you have a hard time committing or?
I don't think I have I have a hard time committing.
Yeah.
I think that I want to be sure that I'm committing to the right one.
100%.
So that's what happened to me, meaning I self-realize my potential. I self-realize my value. I became and increased the status of my life tremendously since the last time that I was married. And so 5 years ago. And man, it was a blessing. I mean, coming back to your question, where are you in your life? I'm in a position where I come from an abundance position
100%.
where I don't have problem with meeting girls or knowing girls or flirting or whatever. I am more selective though. For instance, I was dating this girl, beautiful, sexy, Latina. But at the end, it was like, what does it leave me with? You know? For instance, I am the type of person that pay for dinner and, you know, I like to be dominant. I like to be masculine. I like to be leading. I don't mind if you say thank you. I like if you say thank you.
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I don't like if you woman come from an entitled perspective, you are less sexy for a man.
100%.
I think.
100%.
You know? So that's something. Another thing is like, for me is like, I need to making sure that I'm able to look in your eyes. And if you are looking back to my eyes and you kind of feel uncomfortable, I don't have a good sense. I don't have a good connection. I'm huge in high contact. And for me, it's like sometimes maybe intimidating, I get it. But at the same time, I feel like the eyes are the mirror of the soul.
Yeah.
And I feel like you as a man, as a woman, you should be able to look someone else in the eyes, understand where they are, understand if they're lying to you, reading them. Like if I would give like a piece of advice is to understand how to read people.
Yeah.
I don't know if I answer your question.
Kinda. Yeah, a little bit, you know, but like.
So ask me better.
Yeah.
Then.
So I'll ask you.
I want to be as vulnerable as possible with you.
Like, what are the things that, you know, because like you told me like in the last 5 years you worked really hard on yourself, right?
Sure.
And it shows, man. You know, it shows. And you know, you said you were 150.
150 pounds.
Wow,
yeah.
bro. Wow, you're like 200 now. Huh? Like
Yeah.
190 or
195.
something? Damn, that's right there, huh?
Yeah.
What was the secret there? Just like consistency?
So I started bulking in 2020 during the pandemic. I did a 75 hard, which in reality was a 36 hard for 36 days. And then I was eating a lot, like 5,000 calories a day, 3,000 sometimes. So I bulk a lot. And I wanted to bulk. I wanted to become bigger than I was.
Yeah.
Because she was bigger than me. I like Latina with forms and curves, and she was bigger than me. But anyway, long story short, I grew up in it. So
so that happened. You worked on yourself. You got it. You got out of a marriage. Now you're like having abundance, but like, what are the things that you want later in life? Like, I know that you're from Italy.
Italy,
right?
yes.
So like, I know that over there they're very traditional.
Sure.
Like having a family. I know that family over there is very important.
Yeah.
You know, like family all the time and you know, dinner. Is that something that you want later?
100%.
Like
that's why I have a hard time to commit. Let's put it this way, just because I know what I can get. I know what there is out there, and sometimes, and you know what's funny? Actually, let me tell you this. The past serious, let's call it serious dating or serious relationship that I had, they all had that issue. And I feel like nowadays to find a woman that does not have that issue is like an achievement.
You say dad issues?
That issue.
Father issues.
Yeah, father issue.
Yes. Yes.
All of them. Well, if not all of them, like 99.9% of them.
Once again, we're saying the remote fathers, man. Whether they're not in their life or they're in their life, but they're not in their life.
Yeah. So that kind of bring also, because that's dangerous, bro. The reason why it's dangerous for men also is because if a woman does not have the role model of a dad, guess what? They're going to look at you and think, oh, he's going to fuck it up sooner or later.
Sure.
He's not worth of my respect yet. Or all these things, all these stereotypes that they're born with, looking the best man of their life, which was their dad. And now you come in place and you're supposed to be the daddy or the man. So there is a high type of pressure that you have to overcome with this type of relationship versus a woman that does just have a really good relationship with a dad, really good relationship with a mom, good family.
Would you say that like when you meet girls and stuff like that and you approach them or dating apps or etc., like you having a hard time finding that with a woman, like knowing that like she has a good dad and like family like value and tradition stuff like that, or
having a hard time to find her with a good family value and things like that.
Is that
I think so. Yeah. Yeah.
But where are you like mostly like finding these women?
Anywhere. I can walk on the street.
I would say, man, like I feel you on that, because that's a hard thing, you know. Like no one ever teaches people how to be parents, right? Like
sure.
You just become a fucking parent. You just stick it in and you're a parent, right? No school, nothing.
Congratulations.
Right? But for you, in my opinion, where you're gonna find the right girl, like I said, is during the day, man. And like sometimes it has to be like in the places where it's just like you're gonna find a good girl. That's where she's at, kind of, you know, like sometimes at the gym, right? I'm telling you, at the gym, they already take care of themselves. It's obviously where they're at in their family life, but that over like going out to the bars and clubs, you know, right? Over dating apps, right? Lower percentage on dating apps, but still, there's still a percentage there. And like just being able to like, whenever you're going somewhere, you know, I know that you're busy, so you probably don't have much time, but like whenever that you see someone that's maybe like, not like, you know, like it depends, right? Like if you're looking for a girl that like can have like, you know, a big family life, you're probably looking for like a younger girl, right? Not like in her like 35 or something like that type of thing, right? Because then she doesn't have many years for her. So probably like a younger girl that you're attracted to.
That's another problem of mine.
Yeah.
I'm attracted to older women.
Oh, really? Oh,
bro.
Man, that's a problem right there.
That's a problem,
That's
bro,
the problem right there. You got to go for younger girls that are like, just like after college or, you know, something like in the 20, 25, you know, 20. How old are you?
I'm young. I'm 28.
Okay, so you have a good age range. You have like, you can go like, you know, like young to like, you know, 25, 26, 24, you know, you can that's a really good age range for them to, you see if they have a good family life. You see if you're like, there's a connection, et cetera, et cetera. But I would say that those girls are like, it's going to be hard to just like meet them out like at the clubs and stuff, at the gym, at places like that, at coffee shops, at places where if you go, you know, get a suit and stuff like that, at the mall, you see a girl that's like very attractive, boom, right there too. When you're walking and you see a girl here in downtown, that's another one. If you're doing that and you're taking your shots like that, you're going to get to see if you have abundance, like where they're at in their life, right?
But you're saying during the daytime.
During the day is where, in my opinion, where you find the good girls. At night, that's where the horns come up, baby.
Yeah.
And if they're a little bit older, bro, they're gonna have a little bit more, like, you know, more experience and more set on their ways.
But honestly, I think that and then again, I'm not a dating coach, but if I would give a piece of advice, it would be go into as many dates as possible with older women.
Go where?
I would give a piece of advice to other men saying, hey, try to go to as many dates as possible with older women. The reason why I say that is because you learn a different way, a different perspective, a different mentality of a woman. Because, for instance, if you're talking with a woman that has kids, she's way more mature than a regular girl that just graduated from college. Yeah. So you can pick up so many other things and remember how to read.
Yeah.
But
for sure.
Clearly, I mean, of course, when it comes to the long term and marriage and life partner type of situation, definitely want to go with a
I agree. Like,
woman.
don't cherry pick on the approaching or like being able to like start a conversation with the girl. Like, you want to talk to the girls that you're attracted to, right? Whether they're like a little bit older and stuff like that, for sure, right? Even in the dating apps, go into like a little bit older and stuff like that. So you do have more experience. I feel like older women are more direct. They're more direct, you know what I mean? They're more like, they want to go get chuked type of thing too. You know? But, you know, like, it's good for all the experience and stuff. But I think like when we're just talking about like for you, I think like maybe a girl who's a little bit more younger that like, that you know that has potential to, you know, also doesn't see the whole world as like, she just, I mean, it depends where you're at, right? I mean, we'd have to talk about that and stuff like that. But I'm just saying like, have as much experience as possible. But if you get to choose who you want, choose someone that is based off of your values. You guys have very similar values and obviously a really strong connection. Besides, the attraction is already a must.
What do you think about going to church to find a woman? Are you a church guy? You go to church?
Yeah, I'm big in faith, man. You know, Jesus Christ is the way. He's, you know, John 14:6. Jesus says, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one can come to the Father. No one can come to God except through me. You know, he says it many times, right? So I do believe yes and no. yes, like you can, but there's also people who like are going to church and they do like crazy things all the time and stuff like that. So it's a yes and no, but I think it's also a good place to like see. There's a potential because that might be with her family.
So you would suggest the gym over the church?
No, I say the gym, the church, other places like that are more like, you know, those type of places where it's less threatening, things like that, right? Of like going out and like drink anything that has to do with drinking. That's hard, man.
Stay away.
Kind of.
Yeah,
you still should go.
Do you drink?
Just
Sometimes.
Sometimes. I mean, I used to drink a lot, right?
Okay.
But I don't like what am I gonna do to drink nowadays? You know, like I'm married, dude. Like what I used to drink just to get fucked up and like you know, go out and stuff, you know. But now I don't know, you know.
Yeah. No, I feel you.
But yeah, that's what I would just say. But yeah. Do you have any other questions or anything?
I mean, like I'm gonna say. I mean, you were talking about what? You were asking me a question. About where am I in life? Was I able to answer the? Still no.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, you're saying that you like older women, but are you gonna be settling down for an older woman?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that naturally, I'm more attracted to an older one. It's easier for me to have a communication and keep the communication flowing with an older woman.
What do you want in a relationship? Do you want the girl to be more like, you know, let's for example say like people that we know that are like in the industry, Alex Hormozi, Leila Hormozi, right? They're like a power couple that they're both like very masculine, right? Like
no, I'm not.
Alex Hormozi is a guy who's like business, making money. But his wife, he chose a woman that also has the same exact thing as him, so that way that they're like making as much money as possible. Now, that is one part of a relationship that like I see a lot of people want is like, I want that person. The other person is like, I want more like traditional kind of like, I want to be the one who's like leading, more masculine. I want my woman to be more feminine, more nurturing.
I definitely want my woman to be more nurturing.
Yeah.
Not masculine. I am not attractive into a woman that is masculine, has masculine energy. I'm more attracted to a woman that has feminine energy, more nurturing, more traditional. But that doesn't mean that she does not have a
masculine traits. Like she doesn't have a little bit of like everyone has feminine and masculine like traits.
I'm not necessarily saying that. What I'm trying to say is like I like a woman to see the vision and then support me, and because I feel like at the end of the day, like whenever I go back home, that's her. I wanna, you know, she's there for me, and I wanna making sure that she understand like the crazy part of me and the lowest, the highest, but be there and say, "Hey, baby, I got you. Hey, baby, let me support you. Hey, baby, we're here together."
There you go. Yeah.
That's what I want. And if I don't have a woman that, you know, give me a hug and touch my shoulder and say, "Baby, like, you know, you're my man." Like, I things that bring you respect as a man. Because I feel like women receive love, and for us, love is respect. For us, like the way I'm, more than us, me. The way I receive love is by see a woman that respect me as a man figure, and say, "Hey, baby, like, I'm there for you. Hey, baby, let's grow these things up. Hey, I believe in your project. Let's make the best out of it. Let me give you my perspective. Let me give you my thing. See, let me give you my vision. See, what do you think about that? You see what I mean?
Yeah. No, I hear you on that. Okay, so then if it's more traditional, then that's going back to what I'm saying in the day.
Sure.
Right. Because then if you do that and you just are talking to people, you get to know a little bit more about them and go on a date. It doesn't have to be very long. You see where they're at in their life. You know, you know, sales is all about not necessarily you talking. Sometimes you obviously have to persuade and influence and like tell stories, but it's more about listening, right?
True.
So at the same time, like same thing with a woman, right? Like you're getting to know really like deeper questions that you can kind of see immediately where they're at. And if you see red flags right there, like that's not the right woman. Keep moving forward. Right?
What's a hard question that you recommend a man to ask a woman for the first time or the first date?
Like for just like to know her a little bit more?
Yeah, you were talking about like asking the right question and understanding her more. So what type of question would you?
I would say like the first date is kind of hard to just try to go very deep like that because you want to go more into like the fun, emotional stuff rather than like the logical, like family and all this stuff. Because, you know, grandma, I'm not talking about my grandma, talking about roses and rainbows, you know, where it's just like going back to the logic and not. But if you can take it there where like you're taking it to topics of like getting deeper with the woman, easy, simple ones that you can just say is like, tell me what are your short-term goals? What are some of your long-term goals? What are things that you want to do in life? What are your bucket list? What, just shut the fuck up and listen where she's at in her life. True. Like, it's very simple. Like, I'm not going to overcomplicate this thing, It was Leonardo da Vinci said simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. I do believe the simple stuff works, fundamentals, right? True. Just ask those questions and get deeper. And then when she's talking, instead of, okay, next topic, but why?
Yeah. How do you feel about that?
Yeah, but
what makes you feel that way?
How did you get into that?
Yeah.
Why did you get into that?
Yeah.
But
keep the conversation going.
How is it with like your family? Like, what are the things that you remember as a kid? Like, what are the first things that you remember as a little kid growing up? Like, for me, it was like my grandpa. My grandpa would take me every I'm like talking, sharing stories, and then what about you? Listen again. Where they're at.
True.
Right? You want to have a family? Like, why? Not just like, oh, you want to have a family? Check. But why? What's the reason? They're going to tell you. Oh, well, because, I see my parents, they had a really good relationship. And like, I've always wanted that in my life. It's something that I really it's like, okay, you know what I mean?
100%.
So this is the stuff that you want to go into. But if you go into just with that and like become the interviewer mode, you can get into like more like where you're like, the conversation is too like, you're like the therapist. You're just like asking question after question, right? So it's gotta be like nice. Like, I call it finesse, like being finesse with it, right? So those are the questions that you can go and like really get to know about a person and talk maybe later down the road and get into like relationships later down the road. I like to know. I don't like to just beat around the bush like that. If they tell me, I'm like, yeah, like I say it in a frame where I'm like, yeah, like for me, like, yeah, like I was like, I was dating girls and stuff. Girls wanted to be in a relationship, but I didn't connect with them. I didn't really feel that connection. Where does that come from? I'm communicating in a higher status because why? I'm showing that like I have options. I have abundance, that like I don't just choose anybody. That you have to go through some like hoops and obstacles to get to me, because I'm not gonna just choose whoever based off of scarcity, right? That's
true. Yeah.
That's like,
Fundamentally.
Yeah. So like those are the things that you can definitely do, man. But I mean, yeah. Let's talk a little bit about like jiu-jitsu, right? So I'm just curious to know your story on like, how did you find jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, so I was watching MMA and I was watching Joe Rogan podcast, and he talked about like the beauty of jiu-jitsu and how beautiful it is, things like that. And I was like, hey, that's actually interesting. Like, I never tried jiu-jitsu before. I tried boxing, I tried kickboxing, but never jiu-jitsu. And then I wanted to learn more about these martial arts. Therefore, I subscribed into this gym. And I remember the first day I got my fucking ass kicked, and I loved that because it humbled me and put me in a position of learning, and I love to learn and grow. Yeah. So I started doing jiu-jitsu, but I didn't feel that professor was the best suit for me, just because there are professor. I think this particular professor, he wasn't white belt friendly.
I hate that.
And I hate that, bro. I was like, dude, like I'm here because I want to learn. Yeah. I'm not here because I'm a fucking black belt.
I hate that.
So anyway, I had a car accident. My shoulder got dislocated and I stopped going to the jiu-jitsu. So now I'm waiting to fully recover to be able to go back.
We're going to have to train, man. You definitely have to train together, man. Just have some fun, I do believe that like having kind of like a good experience in jiu-jitsu is important in the beginning, because sometimes we can get shit experience. You're like, you get like a sour taste in your mouth.
I don't have that. Like, even though the professor wasn't the best suit for me.
He wasn't white belt friendly. What does that mean?
Means that, he would explain an exercise on how to overcome the guillotine or whatever, or how to move from this position to another. I was like, hold on, can you repeat it one more time? It's like, did you fucking get it or what? Like, that's how it is. It's like, dude, like, what the fuck? I'm here for a fucking reason. I want to learn. What's the fucking point of coming to the class then? So that's what I meant. But then I tried jiu-jitsu with Tarvis, I think his name is. He's Brazilian.
Tarvis Humphreys?
I think his name is.
Tarsis, I think.
Alliance,
maybe?
Oh, yeah, bravo, yes.
Yeah,
and it was an amazing experience. Nice. But my shoulder was hurting, so I couldn't commit. But yeah, look, if I go back, I'm looking forward to go.
I meant more like when I was like saying like bad experience, I mean like sometimes I realize like black belts who are like teaching, who are like there's like status everywhere, right? There's like, you know, higher status, like the top, like A-list celebrity, Leonardo DiCaprio, Drake type of thing, right? But then there's also niche status, right? And like, if you're a black belt at your gym, you have that niche status. If you're that chess player at your chess club and like you're the best one and like that girl's gonna like that guy, et cetera, right? There's always niche status everywhere, right? So the thing that I hate the most is whenever there's a guy who has like niche status, and let's say that the guy's a black belt and then there's a white belt and he treats white belts like shit, like they have no soul. And then he'll like look at another black belt who's like a world champ and they'll like suck up to the person. I hate that. Because to me, I try to treat everyone the same, you know. And if I see something like that, like human behavior, they're treating that person like shit. Like this guy has no value. Fuck this guy. Yeah, I'm like, I can't trust that guy. You know,
dude. You know what's funny? So talking about this because it makes me laugh. I remember that still with this professor. I was, you know, he was trying to get my neck, and he didn't get my neck yet. I was like pretty strong in it. You know what he did, bro? To get my neck. Dude.
Oh man.
He put these over here. And then he entered. I was like, I didn't know that was fucking legal, bro. What the fuck? It's my first day. Dude, he did this.
Yeah, man.
Boom, and enter. I was like, I love it. I mean, like, I fucking love it because I learned something that I didn't know. But at the same time, I was like, dude, you're a fucking black belt with I don't know how many red stripe, bro.
That's like a tournament or like a street fight type of thing. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like you do that there's certain moves that you do that you don't like, you do, you know, like face crank or something like that, you know, like you don't do that, especially when you're a black belt, you know, you should be like finesse as possible to show them that like, it's not just about your strength, it's about the technique too, you know, so they can feel it.
He put me in a fucking crucifix, bro. I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like, this, what the fuck is going on over here? You know, like I don't think it's necessary. I think you can get me like on a arm bar or like put me in a simple position to let me understand that I need to work on the basic.
Yeah.
But you know what's funny? So I was getting always in arm bar. And then I went to get a few private lessons with Wilson Race.
Oh yeah, Wilson.
Dude, this guy's amazing. He taught me how to overcome the arm bar. And I started practicing because for me, I was getting addicted. I bought this book. I don't remember who wrote it. Roll
to Win?
No, he's a Brazilian guy. He explained you all the belt. He explained you all the position, how to move from a position to another.
Saulo Ribeiro.
Yes, bravo. Yeah. Yes, this one. And I got this book and I started learning. For me, I was addicted because I'm so competitive as a person. Of course. So if I see I'm fucked up, if I see I'm not good in something, like I need to improve it right away. Anyway, long story short, I was getting frustrated because I was always getting into armbar and I was like, fuck. So I called Wilson. We got a few private lessons and, you know, we were able to fix that part.
Nice. Exactly, man. So you're taking what he learned and you're putting it into your game. Like that's the beautiful thing, man. That's like why jiu-jitsu is like a perfect metaphor for that and then like life skills and stuff like that. Cause like for me, I didn't really have much like business experience or like the school. I didn't really go to school. Like I just kind of like, I didn't know what to do when I was in university. So I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do. My parents once again, just go to the school. But why? Right? Like, or why, what you should take if you don't know what to do. I think if you're going to go to school or something, you should at least like know what you're going to go there for. Sure. Right? If not, it's kind of a waste unless you're maybe doing something. But for me, jiu-jitsu really helped me out with like my philosophies in life of like how to get better because it's all about yourself, you know. Sure. It's not like you're not in a team playing football and like the kicker fucking misses the field goal and you know it's all the kicker's fault, you know. It's all on you. So it's all like how can you get as good as possible? Where do you see that you have holes that you need to improve? Just like, you know, I was getting armbarred a lot. Okay, this is a hole. How can I, you know, fix this hole? You know, sure up there, you know, and just rinse and repeat and keep going and progressing and the skill never stops and the evolution never stops, you know. And that's the same thing with life, you know. And to me, jiu-jitsu is like, it's changed my life, man. I'm so grateful for it. I really do believe that every guy should do jiu-jitsu, man.
True.
I like compared to boxing, Muay Thai, I think those are great. I did boxing, I did Muay Thai, I did karate, taekwondo. I did a bunch of stuff like during my, like when I was a kid and stuff. But jiu-jitsu is the only sport that you can go 100% in, right? That like, you can like fucking go hard. Boxing, if you go hard, man, you're gonna knock the dude out or you're gonna get a concussion and things like that. You can only spar a certain like percentage, you know what I mean? Unless you're just gonna spar balls to the walls type of thing, right? Jiu-jitsu is something that's like the gentle art in the most gentle way, because like if you get armbarred, tap, man. You live. It's a game of a thousand deaths. You know what I mean? You die 1,000 times, man, but you keep going. You know what I mean? Like that's amazing to me. And one thing I want to talk about in jiu-jitsu that I've noticed for dating, you know, jiu-jitsu and dating is, I remember when I won this tournament as a blue belt, and I was like super happy. I was like, oh man, I won. I got double gold. It was Pan American champion, and I won, and I got so happy. And then one of my friends was like, oh man, I bet you have like so much more confidence now, right? His name was Jordan Schultz. And I was like, yeah, I do. He's like, let's go out to PB. You're gonna have this confidence, like, you know, you like have more. I'm like, yeah, let's do it. So we go there, and I'm like thinking like I won. I'm like some big shot, you know. And I go there, and I'm not talking to any women. I'm not like approaching. I'm not saying what's up. I'm just like, I won. Like, women should come to me now. You know what I'm saying? And I went there. Nothing happened the whole night, bro. Nothing. Yeah, we talked to a couple. Yeah, but nothing happened. Like. Nothing. Nobody knew what jiu-jitsu was. So my whole thing is like, jiu-jitsu, even though it's so amazing, it's such a small pond compared to the big ocean when it comes to dating like women and stuff. So like what I've noticed is like guys in jiu-jitsu, they're super good in jiu-jitsu, like black belt world champs and stuff, but they're fishing from a small pond, right? And like they're using their niche status to try to attract women, but when they go out to other places and they go and try to talk to a girl and stuff, they're like, that doesn't translate to like their social 100%. Skills, communication. So like that's the biggest weakness also is like for a guy is like, and I'm just giving you this example. This example is in everything, in every field, right? But that example is perfect example of like a guy who's fucking ripped, super jacked, can kill pretty much 99% of people, right? And like jiu-jitsu girls will come to him. Might not be the girls that he wants, right? But then he sees an attractive girl that he really likes, and they don't know what the fuck jiu-jitsu is, you know what I mean? Like, if he doesn't go talk to them and stuff, like, they're not going to go and talk to. So for me, when I realized that, I was like, dude, I got to work on this, man, because I can't just rely on trying to win. And
so you're saying that you were using your identity of a winner in jiu-jitsu tournament to like a way for you to spark a conversation with a woman?
Like, I use that ego boost that like, oh, I won, you know, as like an identity, kind of like what you're saying, to go into the real world that like doesn't know much about jiu-jitsu and just went to like a nightclub and bars and was waiting for girls to come because I thought like, wow, I've won something so big that like everyone praised me. But in reality, like, you still got to go and talk to girls. You still got to be a fucking hunter. You're the hunter or you're a fucking gatherer. And like, it doesn't mean you're just an alpha guy if you're like that, because if you can't talk to a girl, man, to me, that's a shame. And that's like in every field. That's doctors, engineers, that's lawyers. That can be fucking high. It was Dale Carnegie book, The Art of Public Speaking. He talks about a story about Abraham Lincoln, about how he became such a good orator. Really quick, Abraham Lincoln was one of the
man, brief, relax.
Okay, Abraham Lincoln was one of the best orators in the world, right? Like they said that in the book. Because there wasn't cars back then, it was like horses and stuff. He would go from town to town, working on his speech the whole time he's walking. So he's like, it's like an hour like walk. The whole time he's just like working on his speech, just talking about live role playing with himself. And then he gets to that town, just kills the speech, right? Just kills it. And it talks about how like that's one of the ways to get good is like you're practicing, you know, by yourself or with people. You know, and that's when I was like, okay, I got to do this, right? What can I do? Like, what can I take from this book? And then it said that when it came to him talking to women, he was fucking scared as hell. He was like a frightened little boy, even the president. So this is more than just like, it's everything, right? So I do believe that as a guy, you have to challenge yourself to go and like be uncomfortable all the time.
100%.
You know? And that's with women, man. Because if you don't do that, life is not going to give you very much, man.
True.
But if you go and take action in your life and you live every day with like more risk than regret, that's the best way to live life, man. You know? So for all the jiu-jitsu guys out there, you guys got to take some shots, baby.
True. 100%.
100%, man.
100%.
Yeah.
What's your, what do you think is something that you would like to say to someone that is struggling to meet women and talk to them and kind of like just lose, like, you know, getting the confidence? What do you think is something that you would like to say to them in order for them to be, oh shit, I love that part of it? Yeah.
I mean, kind of what we already talked about a little bit, right? Like, you know, working out. I hate the whole just work on yourself type of thing, right? And like things are just magically going to happen.
Yeah.
I do believe that there's more to like the working on yourself, because it is true, but that's like half of it, right? Like working on yourself is what? Like working out, you know, taking care of your body, having better fashion, right? Having good hygiene, being able to read, having literature like that you can like say and articulate, working on your communication skills by going to Toastmasters, going into an improv class. Exposure therapy is a big one. Just being able to like, if you're not good at talking to people, get exposed to talking to people and force yourself to talk to like 50 people. And it doesn't have to be women, just like it could be just men and women. It could be the old grandma that's at Starbucks. It could be the old man. It could be the cute girl. It could be a guy. If you don't know how to approach just a random stranger and talk to that person, how are you going to approach like a really attractive girl? I think that's the biggest mistake that guys do, is like they're just cherry picking hot girls to work on their social skills when it should be talking to everyone.
Anybody.
Everyone, anytime, any place.
Yeah, I agree.
Right? And by doing that, that's how you're going to continue to get better. And then once you get a lot of feedback, then you can like learn from other like theories and stuff like that. Because, you know, theory without execution is dead, you know?
100%. You got any question for me?
Yeah. Couple questions is like, what's, as far as like you for like, you know, we're talking about sales, right? I'm really big into sales too, and closing and just objection handling. Like I'm always trying to study like, what are some of the things that helped you in sales? What are some of the things that helped you in like just being able to close? And like, what are some, like if I was just like a newbie, what would be some of the things that like made you become a way better closer?
Number one, self-awareness, understanding where you are, where you want to be. Yep. Number two is be surrounded by people that are better than you. Number three is being obsessed with your result. And really what stood out to me is getting as much rejection as possible. Eating rejection for breakfast, eating rejection for dinner, eating rejection for lunch, and be used to it. And as the click is when you're able to laugh and you're able to make a joke off of it. For instance, if someone is telling me I'm not interested, I will be saying, absolutely. That's exactly what my mom said to my dad. And then 9 months later, I was bored. Anyway.
I like it.
Going back. So understanding the technique with sales, you know, understanding how and why you are trying to close, understanding how the other person is perceiving you.
Yeah.
See what I mean? Like when you're able to be in the present and be surrounded and be like, oh shit, I got this shit. I know exactly that the only way for them to leave the cell is by shutting the door on me, because they have no power besides shutting the door on me. And that's a win for me. If they shut the door on me like that, that's a win also, because I know that that's the only way.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? So I don't know if I answer your question.
Yeah, no, I love that, man. I love that.
I mean, I go deeper and deeper, but that's my 2 cents.
I love that. And like everything that you're saying is like translates so much into dating too.
100%.
Like you're failing if you're not taking the shot.
100%.
Right? You're failing by seeing a girl that you like and getting defeated on your own mind and just rejecting yourself and not doing it. Like a winning is just doing it.
True.
Can you get the skill set later and like continue to build upon like what you're saying, or like your behavior, your nonverbal, all the stuff, of course, right? But just if you're not good at social skills, the first thing is just doing it.
Honestly, I mean, yeah, every man that is lacking relationship or doesn't know how to flirt, I would say enter into a sales job, understanding how to get rejected as soon as possible. Because honestly, sales, like, don't think that you would be a better husband or better boyfriend, or if you don't know how to sell. How are you gonna sell your wife on being married with you? How are you gonna sell your kid on that not to have the ice cream today because it's not healthy for you? How are you going to do that? You have to understand the technique behind it. You have to understand it's okay to be getting rejected today with the pursuit of tomorrow. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I love that.
I mean, like when you go on a date with a woman, it's a sales, like, you know, it's a sales skill sometimes.
Yeah.
99% of the time.
I would
100% of the time.
I would say the same thing. Like I said earlier, like if you don't sell yourself to her, someone else will sell him to her. You know what I mean? And it's like you're selling yourself to girls. People think, oh, I'm just working at a job that like I don't need to be in sales, but it's like everything in life is selling. Everything in life is closing. Every fucking thing is either selling or closing. Someone is closing someone.
How would a man answer a woman if she's asking how many body counts he has?
Don't remember. I don't know. I never counted. That's kind of weird. But I've been single I've had a couple girlfriends and I've dated, but I don't really know. I don't really know because I'm not counting.
Yeah.
Unless you really count, right? But even then, I don't know.
Got it.
Yeah.
Then would you say that holding hands the first date is good?
It can be. If it's there, do it 100%. The more that you show in dominance in the first date, that's better. I would say, you know, because most guys are too afraid for that. Once again, they're like holding hands, going for the kiss, and they're not doing it. And then guess what? Someone else will. And then guess what? They're gonna get closer, and then that guy's done. Right? So like for women, they have a you know this, man. If you're hot, just put yourself in a woman's shoe. I'm a woman, right? I got a nice size rack, you know, got a nice butt, you know, take care of myself. You know, I look pretty everywhere I go. Guys are just staring at me, right? And like, if like, for example, if you're on an app and a girl puts pictures on herself, which is like, they're going to pick the best ones with the filters and et cetera, makeup and everything. They're going to have a plethora of guys that they're going to get matched with, right? So I do think that women do have a hard time finding the right person too. That's like why I started helping women out, was because just because a woman has more options doesn't mean it's going to be easier. It's actually going to be quite more difficult sometimes, you know, especially, you know, if you're like a younger girl and maybe you want to have casual stuff with like guys and stuff like that, you know, this is the world that we're living in. I'm not going to judge anyone, right? I mean, but girls and guys just having casual stuff, I get that. But if a girl is like, I want to find my husband, right? She's going through these guys that are, you know, more like charming, more attractive, more like showing dominance, all these traits, but they're not anywhere in their life where they want to commit. And then this is what I've noticed. They go on a date with a guy, they like him, he's charming, and then, you know, they keep going, and then they'll like sleep with the guy. And then once that, you know,
he got what he wanted.
He'll leave, or he'll stay in there for a couple months or a year, and then all of a sudden be like, oh, I don't want to get married, and then just bounce, and then she'll get hurt, and then she'll do it again with another guy that's like the same guy, right? That's like very charming and et cetera, et cetera. And it just keeps happening like 3, 4, 5. At this point, bro, she's like, she's so like, has a sour taste of man that like, I see a lot of women sometimes will go lesbian because of that.
That's crazy, really.
I seen this.
Wow.
I seen this happen. I don't believe, sometimes I know that people are like, the whole like communities and stuff, I do believe that there's more to it than that, right? Or the opposite is like guys getting touched when they were kids by like some type of family member. And then because they didn't know as they were kids growing up,
it was a bad thing.
It was like a bad thing. They thought it was good. They thought it was love. It's another form of love. What is that? And then as they get older, they're into man, right? And then they like, this happens all the time.
Wow.
And like, that's never been talked about. But like, I might get canceled just talking about that, right? But I've seen this, and there hasn't been any research on that. Like, that's something that I would feel like I'd be very interested to like know every person who's either gay or lesbian, their childhood trauma. Where were they at in their life? And I know my wife is like, oh, like, don't like, you're gonna make them angry. Like, no, I'm like, baby, I don't give a fuck. I want to know. I've had people in like, basically, like when we do like sales calls, like consultation calls, it'll be like a woman, and like basically like she's like she's a man, right? And she's like telling me she wants to find a man and stuff, or she wants to find a woman.
Wait. She's a woman? She's
a woman that's turned into a man.
So a trans.
Yeah, and like she'll say like, hey, this is what I want. Or I've had guys that were like, they say that they want a girlfriend, but they're gay, and I'm like, man, like what's going on, dude? Like, tell me the truth. And then I get into a thing, and it's like, yeah, when I was a kid, I got like touched, and and I'm like damn, and like I see this all the time, and
really?
Like, and I don't even work with them because they get mad at me, because I immediately I started to know what the fuck is up. You know, I'm not the type of person that's just gonna work with anybody, but I'm gonna tell them the truth, because they don't like the way that they're gonna succeed is not based off what they want to hear, it's what they need to hear. So like for me, I want to get deeper on like every person. I've noticed that this is a huge pattern, and no one ever fucking talks about it because everybody's so damn scared. I do believe that there's more to it than that, right? But I mean, what am I gonna do, right? Fucking protest and stuff, you know? But that's what I think I noticed, man. It's like, look at every person from now on that is gay or that's lesbian. Because a lot of people will be like, they're just born like that. Were they? Did you ever ask them about their life and childhood? I don't know, man. You know? Next time that you know someone, ask them about their childhood. Ask them what happened. It's either that, or that's one of the things. It's either that, or they've had such a shit experience with the opposite sex that they go into like being a lesbian. Like, yeah, this is kind of crazy, right? But I'm fascinated about human behavior. Yeah. This is what I'm fascinated about. I mean, that's what it's all about, you know? So, I mean, I just noticed these things and I'm just like, man.
Yeah, I don't think that someone would be gay just because, you know, there was like an encounter with family member. I don't know how that turns out, you know, like, I have a friend that he's
They're confused, you know?
Yeah. I mean, you know,
I don't just want to clarify. I don't have no problem with gay people. I have a couple gay friends, right? I have no problem. But I think like there's a lot of it where I've seen that came to me that have had this problem like over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I keep seeing this pattern, right? So I'm just noticing some patterns that I'm noticing. It's just talking to people a lot.
So it's a pattern that you're noticing, that people had some type of trauma and then they're turning gay or lesbian.
They got touched when they were kids, and it's not just touch, man. It's like doing a lot of stuff and continuing to get abused for years, right? There's a lot of stuff, like, I don't know if you ever watched, man, like, there's so many people getting abused nowadays, you know? Why? Because of the fucking parents. It all comes down to the parents. They're not there in their lives. Their father remote. Well, we keep talking about the remote father. Same thing with women. Some women are narcissistic women that don't give a fuck about their kid. They have a kid, but they're going to go back into doing their shit. They leave the kid at home. They leave a kid at a daycare. They leave a kid. That's one of the reasons why, like, my wife stays at home and I'm working and, like, I want to provide and do that is because I want my little girl to be with her mom. I want her to be protected. If we just put her in some daycare shit, you know what I mean? Like, I hear that. Like, I know that a lot of people don't have, you know, we're blessed to have the things that we have. But, like, that's a big thing. Is like, you just put your kid somewhere. You don't know who the fuck the person is. You don't know his history or her history. You don't know what's going on. You don't know if someone else is doing something. Like, you have no idea. This is why the world is so fucked up, man. It's a lot of it is because of that.
Last question before we wrap up is, how do you understand if a woman how do you understand if a woman is a narcissistic?
Yeah.
How do you understand the truth of that?
I mean, you can tell based off of, like, not just what she says in her words, but her actions, right? This is more nonverbal, right? Like, if you're noticing that you're talking to a girl and, like, she doesn't really care about, you know, what you have to say. She's the one, like, it's my way or the highway type of thing, or, like, she's doing certain things. She's not very nurturing. She's more, like, selfish. She's more, like, cares about herself. All she wants to do. I mean, I know that a lot of women, they just want to post a bunch of pictures and stuff, which that's like, that makes sense kind of, right? Because they're selling themselves online and stuff. But, like, if you're with a woman and, like, she doesn't see, like, it's not just the respect, because the respect has to be 100%. But it's her actions. What is she doing to really do that? Because she can respect to be so nice, but yet her other actions are like just going out her own way, just not really there. You know what I mean? Like, a lot of times I see women, like, with guys, they're just like, they're with a guy, but yet, like, they're trying to get attention from other guys all the time. And, you know, and then they'll flirt with other guys and stuff like that. Other guys that are more.
What
like,
if
alpha.
A man has the same trait?
Same trait?
Yeah, what if a man has the same trait? That he's talking with a woman, but then he likes the attention of other women.
Well, I noticed this thing from, like, one client that I was working with. He's a lawyer. He was with this woman when I worked with him. He was with a woman who was, like, Russian, and, like, he was like a lot older. He was, like, in his 50s, and she was, like, in her 30s, and she was, like, attractive, right? So that was, like, his trophy wife, right? And I noticed that, like, she just didn't give a fuck about him. She didn't respect him. She just did whatever she wanted. She said, I'm going to go here. She's not coming back.
Really?
She's doing all this stuff. And he's like, what is she doing? And I'm like, okay, we're going to be able to, like, try to work something out where she, like, respects you more, da-da-da. But he lost the frame a long time ago, so it was very hard. And then I told him, like, yo, like, I don't think that this is the right woman for you, man. I think that there's another woman that's going to be more nice and cares about you, because she doesn't care. She doesn't even care about her son. She doesn't even care. She's, like, not really there for her son.
No, but what I was saying is, like, what if the man has the same type of trait of getting wanting more attention from other women? What if that is the case? Do you think he's the narcissistic one?
Yeah, like, if he, like, let's say,
or do you think he's just going through a phase?
No, I think we can all be narcissists, but I think, like, we shouldn't throw the word out there like it's a bad thing.
Okay.
I think that's the thing. Like, for me, I would say I'm, like, a narcissistic guy, right?
Okay.
But when I got into a relationship, yeah, like, all of a sudden I cut myself out from like approaching any girl. So it was hard for me in the beginning of like, oh, like I'm not gonna.
Why would you say you're a narcissistic guy?
I love myself.
Okay.
I care about myself. Like these are the things that like, it's kind of dumb. The word gets thrown out like it's so toxic. There can be toxic things that's really bad, but there can also be good things about it too. Like, you know, because narcissistic people, we care about ourselves. We care about the way that we look. So we're going to take care of ourselves. We're going to work out. We're going to like, every time that we look, we have like a shirt or like a suit, we're like, damn, I look good. You know, like these are the things that like,
but do you think that is narcissistic? Do you think that is being narcissistic?
But like when you're in a relationship though, you start to like, let's say that you're with your woman. Now everything is like, you know, very predictable, which it's important to be predictable in a relationship, right? When dating, being unpredictable is like an attractive thing, but in a relationship, being predictable is the number one thing that you want in your partner, whether your woman, right? You want to know what the fuck she's at, where she's at. She's telling you guys are texting all the time. In dating in the beginning, you kind of want to leave more mystery. You want to be unpredictable, spontaneous. Being spontaneous is good, like romance and stuff. It's still important for the long term. But like, if you're basically like, let's say that now everything is predictable, but you're like, I fucking got to go and talk to other women or this and this. You got to talk, you got to like, where's this coming from? Where is this coming from? Is this just, I want to just stroke my ego more? Or like, is there something deeper than this? Like, it's hard to just say which person because everyone's different. For me, it was like, once I got into it, I'm like, oh man, I see that. And like, I'm a guy, right? But I'm like, but there's nothing to that. And for me, I had like, my dad was like cheated on my mom all the time. And then with the other person, I don't want to be like that. I know how hurt I was. So if I do that to my woman, I don't ever want to do that. So for me, it's like a thing where I don't want that. And plus I have God on my side, you know, with God in our relationship, it's everything, man. You know, like that's what we want. So it keeps me grounded. If I didn't have those things in my life, I feel like I would just be running around and like doing crazy shit. That's why a lot of people, I think, in my opinion, go into like Islam, is because Islam has the thing where you can have multiple wives and you can do this. There is no right or wrong. It's more good deeds over bad deeds. You know, oh, I'm a bad person, but let me just have more good deeds by you know, and this thing, when in my opinion, like those are the things. It's like if your wife treats you bad, you fucking beat her up. You know, there's a lot of things like that. You know, I'm not bashing, but those are the reasons why I think that's like more like, it's like growing really popular right now, is because it's an attractive thing for people that don't know what the truth is. And that we can get into like spirituality later, but I just have researched a lot, and like I do believe like Jesus Christ is the Lord of all lords, man. He's the king. Jesus is the king. And like I try to be like Jesus, even though I sin all the time, even though I'm super not a good person, you know, like I still try to be as good as possible, try to be a good leader, a good husband with my wife. I still have problems. I still have challenges.
Everybody has it.
But I'm still continuing to work. I'm still continuing to be a good person, you know? So to me, like God keeps me grounded, you know? Because if I don't have God in my life, if you don't have God in your relationship, you're just going to do crazy shit because there is no right or wrong. I'm telling you, man. So I think like when you're in a relationship, you want to have God in your relationship.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I should start going to church then. Oh man, it was great having you here today. Great talk. Looking forward to have you again sometimes. And thanks for sharing what you share.
Yeah, man, absolutely.
How you felt? Good?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah?
Yeah, I feel pretty. We can keep going, man.
Nice.
3 more hours, bro.
Nice. All right, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, absolutely.
Good to have you, brother.
Yeah.